I woke to the sound of breathing. Not my own, but many small, synchronized breaths filling the air around me. 20 pairs of eyes stared at me when I finally dared to look. Puppies. Wolf pups, to be exact. They formed a perfect circle around my bed, sitting quietly, watching me with an intelligence no normal wolf pup should possess. Their fur ranged from silver to black to russet, but their eyes, every single pair, glowed with amber light that spoke of something ancient and wild. My heart hammered as I slowly sat up, pulling my blanket tight. The pack house had always been intimidating, but this was something else entirely. I'd only been here for 3 weeks, working as the new healer's assistant, learning the ways of the North Shadow Pack. As a human with a gift for herbal medicine, I was tolerated, but never truly welcomed. "Hello," I whispered. None of the pups moved. They simply watched, their collective gaze making my skin prickle. I reached for the silver pendant my grandmother had given me before she died, shaped like a crescent moon with a small herb bundle etched into its center. "For protection," she'd whispered, "and to remind you that even the smallest plant can heal the mightiest beast." The largest pup, with fur as black as midnight and eyes that seemed to see right through me, took a single step forward. This wasn't normal. This wasn't just a strange prank. This was a test. The whispers had been circulating for weeks. King Allaric, the alpha of alphas, ruler of all 5 major werewolf packs in the region, was seeking his Luna. A selection ceremony was coming. "But I'm human," I murmured to the pups. "I'm nothing." The black pup tilted its head, and I could have sworn it smiled. A sharp knock at my door made me jump. "Ara, are you awake?" It was Nora, the head healer and my mentor. "The ceremony begins in an hour. All females between 18 and 30 must attend." My mouth went dry. "I'll be there." "Don't be late. The Alpha King himself will be present." The Alpha King. They said he stood nearly 7 feet tall in human form. They said he hadn't smiled since the Great War 5 years ago when he'd lost his family. They said his wolf was the size of a bear, with teeth that could tear through steel. They said many things about King Allaric. None of them suggested he would want someone like me. One by one, the pups stood. The black one gave a soft yip, and they formed a line from my bed to the door. The black pup walked to my dresser and pawed at the bottom drawer. I knelt and opened it, revealing a dress I'd never seen before. Pale blue like the sky just before dawn, with silver embroidery along the hem. Beside it lay soft leather shoes. My breath caught. This was no accident, no prank. This was deliberate. "I can't," I said. "I'm not one of you." The black pup growled softly, nudging the dress. "Fine, but this is pointless." I dressed quickly, surprised to find the gown fit perfectly. As I stood before the small mirror, a strange woman looked back, my long blonde hair falling in waves, the dress making my pale skin glow. The pups waited patiently. "What now?" The leader yipped again, and the line reorganized, forming a path to my door. They led me not to the main hall, but toward the rear gardens. Outside, the morning had blossomed into full brilliance. A path of white stones led through the center, flanked by burning torches. At the end stood a massive archway woven from branches and adorned with white flowers. My steps faltered. "I can't go in there." The black pup turned, fixing me with those intelligent eyes. He growled softly, not threatening, but insistent. A tall figure emerged from behind the archway. Reed, the beta of the North Shadow Pack. "Ara, what are you doing here? And why are the sacred pups with you?" "Sacred pups?" I woke up and they were in my room. They led me here. Reed's eyes narrowed. "These are the Alpha King's own offspring. They've never shown interest in a human before." He paused. "Especially not during a Luna selection. There must be a mistake. The pups don't make mistakes. If they've chosen to escort you, then you're meant to be part of the ceremony." A horn sounded. 3 long, deep notes. "It's beginning. You need to join the other candidates." The pups surged forward, herding me toward the archway. Reed stepped aside as I passed through. When my vision cleared, I found myself at the edge of a large clearing. In the center stood a massive stone altar. Around it, in a perfect circle, stood 20 young women. All werewolves, all beautiful, all looking far more confident than I felt. And beyond them, seated on a throne carved from a single massive tree trunk, was the largest man I'd ever seen. King Allaric. Even seated, his presence dominated the clearing, broad-shouldered and imposing. He wore no crown, just a simple silver band around his upper arm. His face was all hard angles, sharp cheekbones, strong jaw, eyebrows drawn together. His hair was dark as night, but it was his eyes that caught me. Even from a distance, they were an unusual color, not amber like most werewolves, but a piercing silver blue, like the heart of a flame or the edge of a frozen lake. Those eyes scanned the circle of candidates, and for one heart-stopping moment, they locked with mine. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't look away. Then a hand gripped my arm. "What are you doing here, human?" hissed Sylvia, daughter of a high-ranking warrior. "This ceremony is for real candidates, not herb-gathering strays." The pups that had escorted me formed a protective circle around my feet. Several growled at Sylvia, who dropped my arm as if burned. "The sacred pups," she whispered. "Why would they—" Another horn cut her off. An elderly man stepped forward. "Today, we honor the ancient tradition of the Luna selection. King Allaric seeks his mate, his queen, his Luna." He raised his hands. "The selection has already begun. The sacred pups have spent the night, searching. They have observed. They have judged. They have chosen those worthy of consideration." My heart pounded. The black pup pressed closer to my leg. "Let the worthy step forward." The other candidates moved toward the altar with practiced grace. I remained frozen. The black pup nipped gently at my dress, urging me forward. Somehow, I found myself walking. The grass was cool beneath my feet, the morning sun warm on my face. As I reached the altar, I dared to look up again. King Alaric's eyes were fixed on me. The elder approached each candidate, placing his hand upon their foreheads, murmuring words too low to hear. When he reached me last, he paused. "A human." Then his eyes dropped to the pups circling my feet. "But chosen by all 20 sacred pups. Unprecedented." He placed his cool palm against my forehead. Unlike with the others, he spoke clearly for all to hear. "The smallest flower often holds the strongest medicine." My grandmother's words. The exact phrase she had spoken when she gave me her pendant. The elder's eyes widened as he saw the silver crescent at my throat. His hand trembled as he withdrew it. "The selection continues. Tonight the moon rises full. Tomorrow our king shall have his Luna." As the gathering dispersed, King Allaric rose from his throne. The clearing emptied quickly until only the king, the elder, and I remained, along with the 20 pups still at my feet. The Alpha King stepped toward me. He stopped a few paces away, studying me with those unnerving silver-blue eyes. "What is your name?" he asked, his voice deep and resonant. I swallowed hard, clutching my pendant. "Ara. My name is Ara." "Ara." My name sounded different in his voice, something ancient and meaningful. King Alaric's gaze was piercing. A human girl with the sacred pendant. The black pup padded forward and sat directly between us, looking up at the king with expectation. For a brief moment I saw something flicker across the Alpha King's face. Surprise, perhaps. Or recognition. "Your Majesty," the elder intervened, "the candidates must prepare for tonight's trials." King Allaric gave a single curt nod, but his eyes never left mine. "See that she is properly instructed. All candidates will be treated equally until the selection is complete." He turned to leave, then paused. "The pendant. Where did you get it? My fingers closed protectively around the silver crescent. My grandmother, before she died. Something unreadable passed over his features. Without another word, he disappeared into the trees. Come, child, the elder said. There is much to explain and little time. He led me to a part of the pack house I'd never entered before, a wing reserved for honored guests. My name is Orion. I have served 5 Alpha Kings, including Allaric's father and grandfather. I don't understand any of this. Why would the pups choose me? I'm human. I don't belong here. Orion glanced at my pendant. Perhaps you belong more than you know. The sacred pups are guided by old magic. They see what is hidden, what is true. We entered a spacious room with large windows overlooking the forest. A bath had been prepared. Fresh clothes lay on a bed. The trials begin at moonrise. Rest. Prepare yourself. A guide will come for you. The pups made themselves comfortable around the room. Only the black one stayed by my side. I sank onto the bed, overwhelmed. This is madness. I don't belong here. The pup tilted its head, then jumped up beside me. It pressed its nose against my pendant, then looked up at me expectantly. A knock interrupted my thoughts. A young wolf girl entered carrying books. For your preparation, miss. Elder Orion said you would need these. I spent hours reading about werewolf traditions and the role of a Luna. According to the texts, the Luna was more than just a mate to the Alpha. She was the heart of the pack, the balance to his strength, the compassion to his power. The trials were designed to test wisdom, compassion, strength of spirit, and connection to the pack. As evening approached, another knock came. Nora, the head healer. Ara, she said, concern and confusion in her expression. I've come to help you prepare. Nora, please tell me what's happening. There are legends, she said slowly. Stories passed down through generations of healers. They said that long ago, before the great division that separated humans from werewolves, there was a line of women who could heal both species. They wore the crescent moon and herb bundle as their symbol. My grandmother was a healer, I said. She taught me everything I know, but she never mentioned any connection to werewolves. Perhaps she was protecting you. After the division, humans with such connections were often targeted. The memory of my village burning flashed through my mind. The rogues who destroyed my village, they weren't just killing indiscriminately, were they? They were looking for something. Nora's silence was answer enough. Before I could ask more, the door opened. Lady Freya, the pack's current Luna regent, entered. It's time. The moon rises and the trials must begin. I followed her through torchlit corridors. The pups formed a protective circle as we walked. We reached an ancient stone circle with moss-covered pillars rising toward the darkening sky. The other candidates were already there, standing in a semicircle facing a large bonfire. Beyond the fire, seated on a throne carved from black stone, was King Allaric. His silver-blue eyes reflected the firelight, giving them an otherworldly glow. Elder Orion stepped into the circle. The first trial begins, the trial of wisdom. Several wolves carried in 20 small wooden chests, placing them in a line before the fire. Each sacred pup has chosen a problem that faces our territories. Each candidate will select a chest, open it, and propose their solution. The candidates stepped forward one by one, offering confident, knowledgeable answers about border, disputes, resource allocation, justice for crimes. All too soon it was my turn. Onyx nudged me toward a specific chest, the smallest, made of dark wood with silver hinges. I opened it with trembling fingers and removed a small scroll. Unrolling it, I read, "What is the greatest threat to the future of werewolf kind?" I looked up, meeting Allaric's intense gaze. Taking a deep breath, I answered, "Division. Not just between werewolves and humans, but the divisions within your own kind. Pack against pack. Old grudges. walls built of pride and fear. I thought of my grandmother's teachings. Where there is division, there is weakness. Where there is unity, there is strength. The greatest healers know that all bodies, human or wolf, function the same. When parts work against each other, the whole suffers. The silence that followed was profound. Then King Allaric leaned forward slightly, something new in his eyes. Interest. Or recognition. "The first trial is complete," Elder Orion announced. As the gathering dispersed, I felt a presence beside me. King Allaric stood there, towering over me. "Walk with me, Ara." It wasn't a request. The forest seemed to part for him as we walked, moonlight filtering through the canopy. We reached a small clearing where a stream cut through the forest floor. "You speak of division as if you understand it," he said finally. "Yet you are human, living among wolves. You are the division. Perhaps that's why I understand it. I've lived my entire life on the boundary between worlds. Tell me about your grandmother." My hand went instinctively to my pendant. "She raised me after my parents died when I was small. She taught me about herbs, about healing, about finding strength in gentleness." I paused. She never spoke of werewolves, not directly, but her stories. They were always about balance. "And your village?" Pain surged fresh. "Destroyed. Everyone killed. I only survived because I was in the forest gathering herbs. When I returned, everything was burning. My grandmother found me at the edge. She was already wounded, dying. She gave me the pendant, told me to run, to remember." I looked up at him. "They weren't rogues, were they? Someone sent them, looking for something. For this." I touched the crescent moon. A muscle tightened in his jaw. "What do you know of the Great War?" "Only what I've heard in whispers. That it devastated the Pax. That you lost your family and took the throne." "I lost more than family. I lost trust." He gestured toward the pups. "This selection, it was not my choice. It was forced upon me by the Council of Elders." His lips curved in a humorless smile. "And yet, here you are. Chosen by all 20 sacred pups, wearing the pendant of the ancient healers. I don't understand what that means. Neither do I, but I intend to find out." He turned abruptly. "The second trial approaches. You should prepare." "Wait. You brought me out here for a reason. What aren't you telling me?" He paused. "The pendant you wear. My mother had one exactly like it." Before I could respond, he was moving again. We returned to the pack house in silence. Inside, I found Nora waiting. "The king himself escorted you? That's unprecedented." "Nora, he said his mother had a pendant like mine." Nora's eyes widened. "Queen Lyra. She was rumored to have healing abilities. She died in the Great War, along with King Alaric's father and younger siblings." "What exactly happened during the war?" Nora's voice dropped to a whisper. 5 years ago, the 5 major packs lived in an uneasy truce. Alaric's father sought to unite them through stronger alliances. Some opposed this. There was to be a great summit, but it was a trap. An explosion killed most of the royal families. And Allaric? He wasn't present. He'd been sent to the northern borders. When he returned to find his family murdered, his wolf went mad with rage. He hunted down those responsible, then united the surviving pack members under his rule, but at a cost. She looked toward the window. "He rules with strength, but without the balance Aluna would provide, without heart." A knock interrupted us. Lady Freya entered. "The second trial begins. The trial of compassion." I was led to a long hall with high ceilings. The other candidates were already there, standing before a platform where King Allaric sat, flanked by Elder Orion and several pack leaders. Before the platform knelt 5 werewolves, heads bowed, hands bound. "These wolves have committed crimes against the pack," Elder Orion explained. "Each candidate will hear one case and determine the punishment." One by one, the candidates stepped forward, ordering punishments that made even the guards wince. When my turn came, the final prisoner was brought forward, a young woman hardly older than myself. This wolf was caught attempting to flee the territory with pack secrets. She intended to sell information about our defenses to the Southern Pack. The hall filled with murmurs of outrage. "What do you have to say?" I asked her directly. She looked up, surprised. "My brother is ill. The Southern Pack has a healer who specializes in his condition. We were denied permission to seek treatment there." "Why?" "Because our father died in the Great War, fighting against King Allaric's forces. We've been marked as disloyal ever since." I turned to King Allaric. "Is this true?" A tense silence fell. After a moment, he inclined his head slightly. "Her father chose the wrong side. Consequences carry through bloodlines. That is our way." "May I examine her brother?" Elder Orion looked taken aback. "That is not part of the trial." Nevertheless, I cannot judge justly without understanding the full situation. After a long moment, King Allaric nodded. "Bring the boy." A small, frail boy was carried in, his face flushed with fever. I approached him. "Hello? I'm Ara. I'm a healer." "Are you going to help Mira?" he asked weakly. "I'm going to help both of you." I placed my hand on his forehead. The heat confirmed my diagnosis. I turned to face King Allaric. "This boy has moonflower syndrome. I can treat him here with herbs from your own gardens." I stood straight. "My judgment is this. Mira will work under my supervision in the healing hut for 1 full moon cycle as penance. Her brother will receive treatment. Both will be given the chance to prove their loyalty through service rather than punishment." The hall went silent. King Allaric stood, approaching until he stood directly before me. "You would defy our ways, challenge traditions that have kept our pack strong for generations." "I would heal what is broken," I replied. "Isn't that what you brought me here to do?" Something flickered in his silver blue eyes. "The human candidate has spoken. Her judgment stands. The trial of compassion is complete." As the prisoners were led away, Lady Freya approached. "The final trial will begin at dawn. The trial of courage." She leaned closer. "You've caught his attention, human. Few have managed that since the war. Be careful what you awaken in him. Not all sleeping beasts should be roused." At dawn, I was led to the very border of North Shadowlands. The other candidates were already there, along with what seemed like the entire pack. Elder Orion stood on a raised platform, King Allaric beside him. "The trial of courage will test not just bravery, but connection to the sacred Pups," the elder announced. "Beyond our territory lies the Fade, the haunted woods where spirits of fallen wolves are said to roam. Each candidate will enter the Fade, accompanied by their chosen sacred pup. They must retrieve a token from the heart of the woods and return by midday." Murmurs rippled through the gathering. The Fade was forbidden territory. When my turn came, Onyx stepped forward before I could choose. King Allaric descended from the platform, carrying small crystals that glowed with inner light. "These will guide you to the center of the Fade. Follow their glow. When you reach the heart, you will find tokens hanging from the ancient oak. Take one and return." When he reached me, his fingers brushed against mine. "The trial of courage reveals truth. Remember who you are in the darkness." A horn sounded. The candidates moved forward, crossing the boundary into the Fade. The moment we crossed, the world changed. The air grew thick and heavy, the light dimming. The trees here were different, gnarled, ancient, their bark black as coal. The crystal in my palm pulsed with blue light, pointing deeper into the woods. Hours seemed to pass as we ventured deeper. The whispers grew louder. "The healer returns. Daughter of the crescent moon." Finally, the trees parted to reveal a clearing. In its center stood a massive oak. Hanging from the lower branches were small tokens, amulets of silver, each unique. I approached cautiously. As I reached for one shaped like a crescent moon, a voice spoke behind me. I wouldn't do that if I were you, human. I turned to find Sylvia. Only one candidate can take the crescent token. That one belongs to the true Luna. It's what I came for, and I won't let a human take it. Onyx growled, positioning himself between us. Is that a threat? I asked. Before she could respond, a howl echoed through the fade. Not the normal call of a wolf, but something twisted. Pained. Fade wolves, Sylvia whispered, fear replacing her hostility. They shouldn't be active during daylight. What are fade wolves? Spirits of wolves who died with vengeance in their hearts. They hunt the living. Her eyes darted nervously. They haven't been seen in decades. Not since the Great War. A shadow moved at the edge of the clearing, large, ghostly, with eyes that glowed unnatural blue. Another joined it, then more, until we were surrounded. Sylvia shifted form, her human body replaced by a sleek gray wolf. With a last look at me, she bounded into the trees. I was alone, surrounded by fade wolves with only Onyx at my side. We can't outrun them, I whispered. A memory surfaced, my grandmother's voice. The smallest flower holds the strongest medicine. I knelt, pressing my palm against the earth. Please, show me the way. The token and pendant seemed to grow warm in my hands, beginning to glow with blue light. Without understanding how I knew, I held both crescent symbols aloft and spoke. By moon and herb, by silver and bone, I claim safe passage through your realm. The glow spread, forming a circle of light around Onyx and me. The fade wolves prowled at its edge, testing the boundary. One wolf, larger than the others with a scar across its muzzle, stepped forward. Its spectral form solidified as it approached. A voice filled my mind. Luna's blood. After so long. I need to return to the pack. Please let us pass. The scarred wolf studied me, then lowered its head in what seemed like a bow. The true Luna returns. We have waited. The fade wolves stepped back, creating a path. This way leads home. Remember us to our kin. Taking a deep breath, I stepped forward. The spectral wolves escorted us like an honor guard. When we finally emerged from the forest, the sun was high. We stood at the edge of a meadow I'd never seen before. Across the meadow stood King Allaric. You took a different path, he said when we reached him, his eyes taking in the 2 crescents I now wore. The fade wolves showed me the way. They guided me, protected me. I hesitated. They spoke of the true Luna returning. A muscle tightened in his jaw. Show me your token. I touched the silver crescent hanging beside my pendant. King Allaric reached out, examining the token. The crescent of the Luna. No candidate has chosen this token in generations. His fingers moved to my grandmother's pendant. This belonged to my mother. It was lost when she died. My grandmother gave it to me before she died. Then your grandmother was Elise, he said, watching my reaction. The royal healer, my mother's closest friend. She disappeared after the Great War. Many believed she had died with the others. She never told me. She raised me in a human village, away from werewolves. She was protecting you. There were those who wanted to eliminate every connection to the old royal families. A howl rose in the distance. The other candidates have returned. We must go back. Together we walked across the meadow. When we reached the border, we found the entire pack waiting. Elder Orion stepped forward. You found the path through the heart of the Fade, the sacred path that has been closed since the Great War. Whispers spread through the gathering. Each candidate, show your token. One by one, they displayed their amulets. When it was my turn, I stepped forward, the double crescent gleaming. A collective gasp rose. Elder Orion dropped to one knee. One by one, the pack members followed suit until only King Allaric remained standing. The The crescent of the true Luna, Elder Orion announced, not seen for generations and never before claimed alongside the healer's pendant. The sacred bloodline returns. Rise, I said, uncomfortable. Please, I don't understand what this means. It means, child, that you are not just any human. You are the granddaughter of Elise, royal healer to Queen Lyra. More than that, you are the daughter of Aurora, the princess who was thought to have died as an infant. My legs nearly gave way. Princess? That's impossible. Your grandmother raised you as her own to protect you. Aurora was too young when she gave birth. Elise took you both away to keep you safe from those who would destroy the royal bloodline. King Allaric moved to stand beside me, which makes you my cousin, the last living member of my family besides myself. The revelation washed over me like a wave. The sacred pups knew, I whispered. They recognized the bloodline. They recognized more than that, King Allaric said. He turned to address the pack. For 5 years I have ruled alone through strength, but strength alone cannot heal what was broken. The selection ritual has revealed what even I could not see, that the balance we lost in the Great War might be restored. He faced me again. The tokens chosen in the Fade reveal the truth of each candidate's heart. You chose the crescent of the Luna, or rather, it chose you. But I'm not a full werewolf. I've never even shifted. The ability lies dormant in you, Elder Orion explained. Those of mixed blood often need a catalyst to awaken their wolf. The sacred trials have begun that awakening. A strange warmth began to spread through my body, a tingling sensation that started in my chest and flowed outward. It's happening now, King Allaric said. Your first shift approaches. What do I do? Don't fight it. Let your wolf come forward. She has waited a long time to be free. I fell to my knees as my bones began to shift. In moments that seemed both eternal and instantaneous, I changed. I stood on 4 legs, my senses overwhelmed. I could smell everything, hear 100 heartbeats, feel the earth beneath my paws with exquisite clarity. King Allaric shifted beside me, his massive black wolf form making even the largest pack members seem small. You are silver, his voice echoed in my mind. Like your grandmother, the queen. I looked down at my reflection in a nearby puddle, seeing a silver-white wolf with eyes the same green as my human form. Smaller than Allaric, but sleek and strong, with crescent markings visible in the fur around my eyes. The Luna returns, Elder Orion's voice joined the mental link. The healing begins. The sacred pups approached, surrounding me, their presence completing a circuit within me, connecting me to something ancient and powerful. King Allaric moved closer, his massive form circling mine. 5 years I have ruled through strength alone. 5 years the territories have known only justice without mercy, power without healing. He stopped before me. The sacred pups chose wiser than any of us knew. They found not just a Luna, but the last of my blood, the one who could help heal what was broken. I understood what my grandmother had been preparing me for all along, why she had taught me the healing arts, why she had given me her pendant. The smallest flower holds the strongest medicine. I was that flower, the last bloom of the royal bloodline, carrying within me the potential to heal not just wounds of the flesh, but the deeper injuries that had fractured the werewolf world. What happens now? I asked. Allaric's silver-blue eyes held mine. Now we rebuild what was lost. Together. As the sun began its descent, the pack raised their voices in a unified howl, welcoming the return of balance to their world. I lifted my voice with theirs. No longer the invisible human girl, no longer the outsider. I had found my true place, not just as Luna to the Alpha King, but as healer to a wounded kingdom, guardian of a new future where human and wolf could stand as one. Onyx pressed against my silver fur, his small form vibrating with satisfaction. The smallest flower had found its garden, and from this day forward it would bloom. Years passed like seasons in the wild, each one weaving the North Shadow Pack, and all the territories under King Allaric's rule, into a tapestry of renewed strength and harmony. The Great War's scars, once raw and festering, began to heal under our joint guidance. Allaric ruled with his unyielding justice, while I, as his Luna and kin, brought the mercy of the healer's touch. Together, we bridged the divides, pack with pack, wolf with human, past with future. The sacred pups grew into formidable guardians, their bond with me unbreakable. Onyx, the black-furred leader who had first stepped forward in my chamber, became my constant shadow, a reminder that destiny often arrives on silent pause. Under my care, the healing huts flourished, blending ancient werewolf lore with the herbal wisdom of my grandmother's line. Humans from distant villages sought our aid, and in return, we fostered alliances that turned old enemies into allies. Allaric and I never crossed the line of blood into something more intimate. Our connection was deeper, forged in shared loss and rediscovered family. He found peace in my presence, his silver blue eyes softening over time, the weight of solitude lifting. Whispers in the packs spoke of a new golden age where the Alpha King smiled again, not often, but enough to inspire hope. One full moon night, as I stood atop the highest hill overlooking our lands, the wind carrying the howls of united packs, I touched the twin crescents at my throat. My wolf stirred within, eager for the run ahead. "The smallest flower," I murmured to the stars, "can seed an entire forest." And so it did. Our kingdom bloomed eternal, wild, and free.